Welcome to Module 2. We're off and running, and I hope you enjoyed the material we covered in our first module. We had an opportunity to go over some of the basic concepts and topics that are the substance of the field of sociological social psychology. We also looked at research methods. I'm aware that for many of you, this was a kind of brief review of some material you've gone over before and that you have an understanding of the basic methods used in sociology. The discussion question that we did gave you an opportunity to demonstrate your understanding of methods in terms of how they might apply to the specific case of the Spelman women. And everyone did a pretty nice job on that. I'm grateful for that. I appreciate the discussion. This week, we're going to turn our attention to a couple of topics. We're going to look at the way in which individuals construct their world through the influence of social factors, social variables. The way in which we see the world, perceive the world, interact in the world is dependent on our social experiences. The beginning of chapter 3 provides a good example of this. For instance, the social conventions we have regarding sleep don't come simply from physiological needs. They come from a variety of social influences and factors. A good example would be the way in which a society does its work. A primitive society that did not have access to artificial means of lighting and that worked in accord with the sun would have a different sleep cycle than a modern industrial society. You would have no third shift, so to speak, in some of those societies. We're able to have a third shift, a shift running from 11 to 7 in the morning, the middle of the night for most of us, because we have the means of producing work, lighting the work environment during those times. So sleep cycles as determined in a society are contingent on social factors that have nothing necessarily to do with the physiological needs of sleep. We will also begin our discussion of identity. We'll look at the concept, some of the important processes that are important in building identity, and we'll also look at the significance of identity. Why does identity matter? We all have a sense of who we are, and that sense of who we are influences the decisions that we make. For instance, if you think you're a really smart person, you might consider going to college. You might consider going to law school or med school. If you don't believe that you're smart, even if you are, you're probably not going to pursue a path that would lead to college, med school, or law school. You might consider a trade, for instance. And that's not to denigrate trades, because those require intelligence as well. Not necessarily the same kind of intelligence that you might find necessary in law or medicine, but just a different kind of intelligence. But my point really is that where we decide to go in our lives is a function of our identity, and that includes all kinds of things: how attractive we think we are, how well we think we interact with other people, how smart we are, lots of things. So we'll be spending a fair amount of time looking at identity, and as you know already from the information I provided on our first paper, we'll be looking in great detail at identity, and you'll have the opportunity to do some additional research to support your analysis of identity in your paper. I hope you started work on your papers. They're not due till the 4th week, but most of us do not do the best work at the last minute, especially in a research assignment. So I hope you'll get started on that if you haven't already. The information I provided on the projects has also elicited some activity from some of you. I've already received your score sheets, and I'll be getting back to you with information on the second part of the project very soon. I appreciate it when you get going quickly, because if you run into roadblocks, it gives you time to connect with me so I can help you with any issues that you run into. It's hard to do it in the last 24 hours before an assignment's due. So you're all grad students. I don't really need to go over the importance of that with you. We'll also have another discussion this week. There's nothing else that you have to turn in beside the discussion. Again, I hope you'll work on your papers and projects and take advantage of my willingness to help you. And I hope the information we cover this week is interesting to you. I'm available by telephone or by email. I check my email every day, including weekends. So if you need to connect with me by email, I usually can get back to you the same day or at the latest the next day. If for some reason you send me an email and you don't hear from me by the next day, something's gone wrong. I've missed the email. It didn't come through. Email me again or call me, because I don't want any questions to go unanswered. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you on the discussion board, and have a great week.